So let's dive on into this. So it'll be me doing the first part and Eric doing the second part. And I'm going to try to fly through a lot of these. I'll slow down every now and then. But rule of thumb is, if you want to know how long a PowerPoint presentation is, rough estimate is about a minute per slide. And I better not do that, or we'll be, he will be falling asleep. So when I get to damage, like get to the marine, I'll speed up and show you. Here's an example. So if you want me to slow down during those, or if you see something you want to ask a question about, slow me down at that point. But I will slow down some places to kind of tell you the method of discerning this or that. This is actual tornado. Not a lot of contrast behind it. This is about to cross Highway 411 down near Etowah. Is that 411?
411 goes through Etowah.
Yeah, this is south of Etowah, looking north. Tornado coming from the southwest to northeast, so about to cross the highway, right there. And that's one of the few photographs. I mean, it's daytime. I couldn't believe there weren't more photographs.
I bet that's not a mile from the one of them last year.
Yeah. We actually had trouble a couple of places looking at stuff and thinking, oh, there's some more damage, but there were quite a few times we ran across old damage. Okay, I borrowed this slide from Eric. Here's some of the paths. The F3 right here, and then these are F2 damage, and then I'll show you Cherokee also. And we're not going to get up to the stuff in Claiborne and Lee County. We certainly have all that documented, but just to save a little bit of time, we're going to concentrate Knoxville southward. Okay, so Hamilton County, Harrison area. This is Hamilton County flew over. We didn't take these. We got the ground shots. Hamilton County gave us the airborne shots, but you can see some of the damage right through here, coming this way. The edge of the peninsula is probably back down here where the tornado spun up, coming through and the north end of the peninsula is right over here. So coming through here, some pretty nice houses there. And then the marina it strikes really hard is over here. I'll say it struck it hard. The marina is not built to withstand tornadoes, so $6 million worth of damage at the marina alone. And here's a view looking north. And you can see some trees down there. You can see the root balls, the trees coming down as it's about to go over the water.
George, can I give you just a small side issue? If you're flying a tornado, look for the FEMA roofs. If you look for the blue tarps, you can find. I mean, you can almost perfectly pinpoint the tornado track.
Yep. Very good. A little bit closer view. And sometimes, if you look closely, typically, if there's any discussion about if it's a tornado or not, which there wasn't going to be too much in this one, but a lot of times in the summertime, people got hit by a tornado. Well, you look at the damage path, and tornado usually has a convergent path, sucking stuff in toward the middle and lofting it in debris, whereas microbursts coming down and spreading out. So it's a divergent path. You can see this is tornadoes coming in from kind of upper left to lower right. So you can see stuff pointing in from the right, kind of the core, and then pointing in from the left over there. So classic tornado path there. And usually take a compass with me just to take those measurements. And you can see here, headed toward the marina. This is taken from the ground, looking back toward the neighborhood there, taken from the marina. You can see some of the damage there in the marina. And more damage in the marina. The marina had one on this side of this peninsula and even larger part on the other side. So this is the western marina, really roughed up. And quite a few of these got torn from their moorings. This one had been more over here. All these got kind of pushed down the shore there. And I was really impressed by the damage until we saw these houses. It wasn't as easy to see them, but I got a little bit of a glimpse when I saw these aerial photographs. The houses are not that badly damaged. You know, it's EF0 to maybe some EF1 damage, but not very much. Just these marinas, really lightweight. Things get flipped up, boats get pushed around. Looks impressive, but it doesn't take a lot of wind to mess up a marina. And they're not anchored; they're floating. They're anchored to the shore. They might be anchored somewhat, but you know, the vast majority of this is floating with anchors to keep it from floating away. And this actually jumps over to the other side of the marina near Highway 58. And I don't know if the $6 million was to the marina and the boats or just the marina, but you can see a ton of boats just got a lot of stuff lying on them. You can see this is actually flipped up and over. There's one of the float, all this area here. Turn this right side up was floating back here, and it flipped over, and now is on top of the boats. Okay, and from the ground. That's some angle mess in there. And that other marina is on the other side of this hill. So that's looking probably southwest. I got a lot of cleaning up to do. Okay. And now we're transitioning out of the marina. The edge of the marina is right there. There's Highway 58. And then crossing more onto land and about to head into the neighborhoods. That's looking from Highway 58 up into the neighborhoods. That happened on Friday. On Saturday, we got around the marina. They took me around on the golf cart. You know, let me look wherever. But we could not get up into here. There's too many trees over roads, etc. And so at that point, I think we had a EF1 at 110, 105 miles an hour. I can't remember exactly what it was. So we put that out initially. EF1, 110 miles an hour, I think. Stay tuned, probably going to get higher because it can't even get back into the worst part. So the next day, Saturday, went back after lunch. Okay, I'm just putting up the names of these roads. They're tiny little neighborhood county roads, but Short Tail Springs Road, where this is. Aerial view here. This is the road, Short Tail Springs Road. The hardest hit, this is not the grand finale, but I guess could have saved this for last, but the very hardest hit area that I saw from that whole event was right in this area. This is a forest right here. Pretty much every tree down. All these houses, a lot of damage. This lot right here was a house that got just plain completely blown away. Another one here got heavily damaged. More of them up here. This is actually coming up a hill, for what that's worth. And here's from Google Map. I'll go back and forth a couple times, but here's the road right here, Short Tail Springs Road, going up the hill. Here's the house that got wiped away, and the other one's got really heavy damage going up the hill there. And then others that, of course, got damage. You can see the wooded area here, how, go back a little bit, how that's just devastated. It was early March, so for the deciduous trees, I guess, didn't have leaves on them, but there were a lot of pine trees in this area. Another photograph, a little bit different angle. You can see that forest just devastated. Kind of reminded me of Ringgold, Georgia. I looked at that a couple months after that when it happened. And Ringgold was an EF4. And a lot of this I was looking at thinking, well, this could have happened at this wind speed, et cetera, et cetera. But when I thought back to Ringgold, Georgia, when I saw that same kind of hillside, that this is really impressive. And of course that one got wiped away. Not all the houses had that kind of damage, but this is looking downstream. So the tornado, we're coming along the tornado path, looking downstream. Once again, the hillside here just completely taken apart. And the reds that got blown away is right one side or the other of this house. And here's a view from Google Maps, that same stretch of road. Here's the telephone pole right here. I think that's the telephone pole there. You can just see how, and it's state before this, forested. That's one thing when you go to a tornado area. I've been in enough relatively new neighborhoods that it doesn't shock you when you go to a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot of a canopy. Because you go to a newly developed neighborhood that's only a couple years old, then you see some photographs of, no, it's an established neighborhood with a lot of big trees and forest off to the right side there. This is it's amazing how much got taken down. This is looking almost to the north. So here's the house you saw in the foreground before, then going up the hill. That one's off its foundation. That one's heavily damaged. A lot of smell of wood just everywhere, and then burning wood. So any big tornado path you go through, a lot of smell of wood all over the place. The same houses there. That's once again, I think, the hardest hit area. Those now are down the hill a little bit. This house, and then the one that got wiped away is right here. It's the same house. There's that house before. So there's one, the house, it's probably total, but at least it's withstood it. You certainly would have survived in there. But just amazing to me how those trees are just gone. They might have cleaned up a little bit, but that's an established neighborhood.
Was the tornado traveling from back to front? Right there?
What do you mean back? It's going toward. We're going toward the direction.
Okay, so the front half of the house got hit first and then survived, and the back half didn't. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. No, this would have been on the left side of the core of, so it might have gotten first hit with a kind of upstream wind or something. Another wide view. So that's that house we just looked at, the one that got wiped away. Those other two that were off their foundation. Here's one that's off its foundation, or wiped away. Then you start thinking, okay, well, now we got something that looks like EF4, EF5. But start looking around at other stuff, and here's that house before. So it wasn't just a double wide or anything. It's hard to tell what it was. And there's the greenhouse right behind it. There it is. I looked at we always look at the construction, concrete nails, but it'd certainly be better to have bolts, anchor bolts and all that, which not too many people are using in construction here. But pretty much got yanked off. So then it's a matter of, okay, everything we've seen so far. I've been over to Cherokee before this, and I surveyed some, I guess, Delano and Polk County and McMinn County. I'd seen all that the day before and came back into here the next day. So are we going to jump from EF1s and EF2s to EF4? Is there enough to justify that? certainly close, but toolkit we have, looking at some of the surrounding things and looking at the vegetation right on the, where is it? Right on the property, wasn't ground up. I mean, the trees are devastated, but didn't see any signs of like grass being sheared off that I've seen sometimes before. So called it high-end EF3, 165 mile per hour winds. Won't go the same area.
George, have they done any more work on the vegetative EF stuff, or is it still talk in discussion stages?
Well, have you you've seen the toolkit, I guess,
Yeah.
have you? Yeah, it's just the same.
Okay.
Same. You got conifers and deciduous trees, and that I can show you all that when we get done with this. Oh, by the way, does anybody have to leave pretty soon? Because I do have one neat video to show at the end that I want to make sure that y'all get to see if possible. And then again, the hillside over there. This is still from that same viewpoint. And don't jump, it's not that bad.